So with COP26 kicking off in Glasgow, we thought now would be quite a good time to share some good news with you. So are you ready for it?
Drum roll please.
That's plenty. We just hit 12 months climate positive. Now, all of that is very exciting, I know, but why does it matter and what does it mean?
Well, firstly, if you don't know us yet, we're two cousins, Daniel and Adam Jack, and we're starting up our unique tourist accommodation business on the Isle of Cumbrae. As cliche as it may sound, the environment really is at the heart of every decision that we make as we set up our business. From day one, we were determined to create a genuinely environmentally sustainable, climate positive business. Now, what exactly does climate positive mean? Well, climate positive essentially means the same thing as carbon negative. It just means that we'll remove more carbon from the atmosphere than we add to it. This is pretty easy at the moment because most of our work is done at home and behind a computer screen. And we don't need to do a lot of travel just now, so we're not emitting a lot of CO2. But as soon as we are up and running, we'll have a keen focus on it. In fact, we're pledging to track our environmental performance with the same diligence as our business performance. A bit more of that later in the video.
At the moment, we also partner with an organisation called Ecology. Ecology plant trees and fund the world's best climate crisis solutions. They support tree planting and carbon capture projects in low-cost, high-impact areas all across the world. They also support projects a little closer to home, such as a reforestation project in Cumbrae in North Ayrshire, which is a 10-minute drive up the road from us. They help individuals and businesses make massive environmental impacts and move towards net zero. So far, we've planted 389 trees in our forest at the time of filming this video. When we do eventually launch our alternative eco-cabin business on the Isle of Cumbrae, we'll also be pledging to plant 10 trees for every single booking made at Jack's Alt Stays. As you can imagine, that's quite the forest we'll end up having by the end of next year. By the way, you should also check out our Jack's Alt Stays forest. I've put a link to it down in the description. On that page you can also join Ecology as a business or as an individual, so why don't you do that, and Ecology will plant 30 new trees in both of our names. Ecology also supports a broad range of carbon capture projects which are able to evidence that they're reducing greenhouse gases across the world. If you take a look at their website, there's everything from wind farm projects in Turkey, Amazon rainforest protection schemes in Brazil, solar energy projects in Vietnam, as well as lots of reforestation projects here in the UK. The specific projects we've supported over the last 12 months have done some serious work already, having reduced 15.53 tonnes of CO2. 15.53 tonnes of CO2 might just seem like a large, meaningless number, but to put that into perspective, that's actually equivalent to 12 long-haul flights, 47 square metres of sea ice saved, or 38,530 miles driven in a car. That's like driving 1.5 times around the world's equator. So our partnership with Ecology is all great, but what are we doing beyond that as a business for the climate?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Firstly, our cabins are being built locally in North Ayrshire, because fewer logistics means fewer CO2 emissions, right? And they're being built from sustainably sourced materials where possible, including the timber frames and claddings, the fixtures and fittings, and the electrical appliances inside. When the cabins are fully built and we're ready to accept guests, they'll be powered by 100% solar, hydro and wind generated energy, and will be supplied by a 100% green business energy provider. Now, for a wee tourism business on a wee Scottish island, we've set ourselves some pretty big eco goals. By the end of 2022, we aim to plant 3,000 trees, remove 100 tonnes of CO2 from the atmosphere, and achieve and maintain carbon negative status.
One of the easiest ways we have a positive climate impact is with our daily commute, because sometimes it's the wee things that matter. We'll be cycling over to the site every day. Well, most days, apart from once a week where we need to bring over essentials and consumables for the cabins.
We'll also be making sure that anyone that we work with has their eco-credentials in place, such as suppliers.
One of our core values is to respect our backyard and to leave nothing but footprints. Always respect your surrounding environment and leave it a bit better than you found it. We try to return to these values every time we make a business decision, because what's the point in having them if you don't? I'd say that we see our environmental duty also extend beyond the site boundaries. So that's why we get involved in local beach clean initiatives, and it's also something that we're going to be looking to champion further in the future.
Now, how do we hold ourselves environmentally accountable? So I'm a bit of an Excel geek, and I've set up what's called a carbon footprint tracker. which is our way of measuring our environmental performance each month and holding ourselves accountable for achieving that carbon negative status. It basically tracks all of our carbon contributions, such as logistics, travel, energy use, wood fuel consumption, and food waste, as well as all our carbon removals, such as existing tree and vegetation capture, new local tree planting, and global tree planting and carbon capture projects. It tracks all this each month, then calculates a net carbon footprint. With that, we can ultimately determine whether our business has a carbon positive or carbon negative status.
Now, I know that this might not be the most riveting video that you've watched today, but we're really keen to share the things that we've been doing to make sure that our business is an eco-conscious one. As a wee tourism business on a wee Scottish island, we know that we are not going to be the ones to solve the climate crisis, but we're a wee cog in a very big machine. What we can do is try to do our bit as a big collective effort, and that's what it's all about. By the way, our first eco cabin is going through the build phase at the moment, and we are documenting every step of the journey. So if you'd like to watch the latest episode of our Build Journey series, click on screen at the moment. Thank you all for watching, and speak again soon. Cheers.
Cheers.